הלילות, אין אנו מפילים אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת.
הלילה הזה שוטף בעמי, הלילה הזה שוטף בעמי, שבכל הלילות אנו הולכים
ביושבים ובמסובים, ביושבים ובמסובים.
הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים, הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים.
Well, Chag Sameach, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Cantor, Michelle, and Heather and I as we come together on the second night of Pesach for our second annual Beth El Online Family Seder. I gotta be honest, I couldn't have imagined a year ago when we gathered for our Seder online that we'd be doing it again this year, but here we are, and I'm so happy to have so many of us who are joining tonight. If you are watching us at home, our suggestion is that if you can put on your Zoom to speaker view, it will make for most of the evening the experience the best. If we're going to go out of that, we'll tell you, but you'll see Cantor Michelle, and you'll see Heather, and you'll see me and our family throughout the night. So get yourselves into speaker view. And Cantor Michelle, I think we got to start with some music because this is a fun holiday, Pesach, and I love celebrating. Do we have some songs that can get us into the Pesach mood?
I think that we have an awesome song for you, and it's a song that most of you probably know, and you don't really have to change the words. Raise your hand if you've seen the first Frozen. Has anyone here seen the first Frozen? Twice. Right? So what are the words of the main song? They're let it go, right? So instead of saying let it go, we're going to sing let us go, right? Because that's kind of our theme for the night, is that the Jewish people went to Pharaoh saying, let us go. So this is my family, and we are going to sing let us go for you. And I think we'll sing it twice because after you hear the first few seconds, you'll sing along too. All right, are we ready, family?
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Let us go, let us go, can't hold us back anymore. Sing with us, let us go, let us go, turn away and slam the door. We don't care what you're going to say, let your storm rage on. Pharaoh, you can't bother us anyway. Try to sing it with us. Let us go, let us go. Can't hold us back anymore. Let us go, let us go. Turn away and slam the door. We don't care what you're going to say. Let your storm rage on. Pharaoh, you can't bother us anyway.
Oh my God, Cantor Michelle, that was amazing. Now I am in the Pesach mood to move into our Seder. I can't wait to get started. So everyone who's watching at home, thank you so much. We are going to be using tonight this wonderful Haggadah from PJ Library called In Every Generation. You were able to download a copy if you wanted to. You can also, they do sell hard copies if you're a hard copy kind of person, if you want to have around your table. But we're going to have the pages of the Haggadah that we're going to be leading the Seder out of tonight up on the screen on the share the whole time. Again, if you are at home on Zoom, I would recommend that you stay in speaker view even when we go into the screen share so you can see Cantor Michelle and Heather and us and me throughout the Seder tonight. And then there'll be some times when we go to gallery view so we can see everybody. All right, with that, we're going to move to the lighting of the holiday candles, which is on page 9 if you have a Haggadah at home with you. And Cantor Michelle, if you will lead us in the lighting of the Yom Tov candles.
All right, everybody, we're going to light here first.
Can we do our Pesach hugs?
Let's do our 3 Pesach hugs. Awesome idea. Ready? Echad, Shtayim, Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishar b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של יום טוב, של יום טוב. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, now, since we are sitting around family tables, and I know that for a lot of families, this may be one of the first times you've seen members of your family and been able to be around them and celebrate. So it's an extra special opportunity to do our family, our blessing of the children. So although the first part isn't on the page of the Haggadah, I'm going to ask everyone, if you're in a home with a boy, take your hand and put it on his kepi and repeat after me. Yasimcha Elohim Ka'Ephraim V'chi Menashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. And good, if you have girls like we have at our house, we have a couple of girls around the table. We say to our girls, Yasimech Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel V'Leah. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And to all the girls and boys we say, may God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine on you and be good to you. May God's face point towards you and give you peace. Amen. One. Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. All right. The Seder means order. And we call it a Seder because we do a bunch of things in order. We have all these things. We got to bless the wine. We got to wash our hands. We got to eat the vegetables. We got to break the matzah. We got to tell the story. We got to wash our hands. We got to bless the motzi. We got to bless the matzah. We got to eat the bitter herb, the maror. We got to make the sandwich with the charosa. We got to have the meal. We got to find the afikomen and eat it. We got to bless after the meal. We got to give thanks with halal. And then we got to say we're all done. Did you catch all of that? Well, if you didn't, it's okay because it's up on the screen. That is the things, the 14 parts of the Seder. We're going to do a little bit of all of them tonight. But I promise you, you won't be too hungry when it gets time for the meal. So, the first thing we do is we take our Kaddish, we take our Kiddush cups. So if you have your Kiddush cups or your wine or your grape juice, let's hold them up in the air so Cantor Michelle can lead us in the Kiddush.
Here we go, everybody. You'll notice the melody is also a little bit different than the regular melody you might have heard right on that we do on Shabbat. And it goes like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. And also, you try to sort of do our little bit of reclining when you drink your grape juice or wine. So here we go. Lean a little.
I'm falling out of my chair. But that is
vintage of Kedem grape juice for this year.
vintage March.
There we go.
Right, Heather? Vintage March. All right, well, Heather, it's so good to see you and your family. I see Noam and I see Eden. I'm not going to say it was Eden's birthday, but it was Eden's birthday. Happy birthday, Eden.
Thank you.
And Heather, what's the next part in the Seder?
So this is something that we're all very used to after having a year at home. We are going to wash our hands. This is the Urchatz. And who knew that we've been washing our hands, you guys may start, in Judaism long before we had a pandemic. So what we are going to do in our family is we are going to wash right here symbolically for you. And we're improvising with a tea kettle. And Noam is going to put his hands over, and Eden is going to pour some water, and then just a little bit, and flip your hands over. There we go. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right. There's a towel. And there we go. Very nice. We're going to put that back. And symbolically, we washed our hands on behalf of everyone. But if you feel like you forgot to possibly wash your hands, you are welcome to go do so. However, it may work for you if you do not prepare a little sink next to your Seder table. All right, so now we are heading over, and I think everybody that's been in religious school for the past few weeks probably remembers what we are going to do next. You are going to look for your karpas, your parsley on your Seder plate or in the middle with everybody. And if you remember, we are going to be dipping it into the salt water. And that is going to represent the tears that the slaves had. And it also is going to represent that even out of slavery at this hard time, the karpas is going to represent the spring of new life and the growing of new trees and spring and all of those wonderful things. So I will say the blessing, and then we can dip in our salt water. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah. Go ahead and dip and chew. Dip.
Heather, can I interject for 1 second?
You can interject as much as you want, Rabbi Greg.
Thank you. Because one thing that is always hard at family Seders is that we get to table for dinner for the Seder and we're all a little hungry. Now, one thing I want to share with everybody is you don't actually have to wait until the meal to start eating. With karpas, we say the blessing over the fruit from the earth, brei pri ha'adamah, and we say that blessing over parsley. But then during the rest of the meal, you're free to eat any other fruit from the earth along the way. If you look at our table, and I'll ask those who are near it to point out, we have cucumbers in a bowl, we've got peppers in a bowl, we've got carrots in a bowl, things for especially tiny, hungry bellies to munch on while we're waiting to get to Shulchan Aruch, to the eating of the meal. And so I encourage you, either now if you got in the kitchen, go get some, or in future Seders in future years, have some little grabbies to nash on during the Seder as we make our way through the Haggadah. Speaking of making our way through, Heather, let us take us back to the desert now and back to the matzah.
All right, so thank you, Rabbi Greg. So now we are in the desert, and we remember that we are eating matzah because we didn't have time to wait for the bread to be leavened. And so we're in the yachatz. So Shachar, a little off camera, but you'll be able to see him, in the middle of the matzah holder that we have here. He's going to pick out the middle matzah. Well, he's going to try and not flip over the camera. And he's going to split it into two. And so all the kids at this point should be watching very closely, because what Shachar is going to do, and the leader of the Seder at your house is going to do, that's right, Cantor Michelle, here's looking at you, babe. We are going to wrap that matzah into our afikomen item, and it is going to be hidden at some point during the Seder. And so hopefully the kids will keep a good eye on it so that we can hide it and you can find it, because we cannot finish the Seder and we cannot go home tonight until we find that afikomen. So this is our dessert. So keep your eyes on it, and we are ready to continue.
All right. I did not hide it yet, Claire. I know you were asking. I'm uncovering the matzah for a moment because this is my favorite part of the Seder. Sorry, I'm chewing a pepper. My favorite part of the Seder is when we begin the story with this, with the matzah, and we say, Ha lach ma'anya. This is the bread of the hard times that we had when we were in Egypt. May all who are hungry come and eat. The idea, and obviously we can't do it during the pandemic, but normally, in normal years, it's when you have a Passover Seder, you want to invite a bunch of family over, a bunch of friends over, let everyone come and hear the story of why is it that we eat this matzah every single year at the Seder. And the story starts with the fact, and Cantor Michelle has a song, I think, about this, but what happened when we were in Egypt? Cantor Michelle, what happened when we were in Egypt? What were we when we were in Egypt?
Well, I think that we were not so free then. We were definitely slaves having to work hard, and we could not control anything that we did, right? We couldn't like go watch our iPads whenever we wanted, if they had them then, right? And we couldn't go play in a pyramid whenever we wanted, right? Our time was controlled by people who owned us. Yes?
Couldn't stop working for Shabbat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm continuing with the reason that we're all here tonight, and we talk about why is this night so different than all the other nights of the year, except for, of course, last night, right? So we are going to
Keep going.
okay. So in order to tell our story, we have to have people ask us questions about it, right? And hold up your hands. How many questions are there? Definitely, right? There are 4 questions that are sort of led by one big overall question, which is why is this night so different than every other night? So what I thought we could do is in our Cohen Auslander house, because those people at the end of the table are my parents, Shelley and Gary Auslander. And there we go, we're the Cohens. So we're gonna sing together the first question. And then if we want, we can go around our Zoom room and we can take turns if other people want to sing a question and help lead. All right, so you guys ready? Yeah. Here we go. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot mikol halelot shebechol halelot anu oklim shamei matzah shamei matzah. Everyone at home, halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah, halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. All right, volunteers for number 2. Maybe the Weissman house or anyone else who's on Zoom.
We can do number 2. You ready, girls?
Yes.
Shebechol halelot anu ochlim she'ar yirakot she'ar yirakot halayla hazeh maror maror halayla hazeh maror maror. I'm looking at the other families who are here. Would the Hoffmans want to sing the third one? Can you guys reach to unmute so we can have you join us?
Ready?
Shete
very good. Thank you, guys. Do we have a volunteer for the fourth and last question? Is that the Ports saying yes? Are those hands in the air saying yes? Oh, the Stones. The Stones can go ahead. If you guys can unmute. The last of the four questions. Oh, you're on mute again, guys.
There he goes, Aaron. Go ahead.
Right, Bethel, Hallelujah. Can you do that? That's right. Vein Yoshvin, Uvein Mesubin. Can you try that? Everyone. Vein Yoshvin, Uvein Mesubin. I keep going. Halayla. Kulanu Mesubin. Halayla.
All right, we are now moving on to the story of being slaves in Egypt. And Ken and Michelle, are we going to sing Avadim Hayinu?
Yeah, because what is a Seder without Avadim Hayinu, right? So what I think is really important when we hear this song, so everyone say it after me. If you don't know Hebrew, say Avadim, and work really hard when you say this word, Avadim, because Avadim means slaves and you were working hard, but Hayinu in the past, right? Atap b'nei chorin means, but now we're free, right? And the thing is, when you're a slave, you might not be able to sing whenever you want. So it's even like a bonus that we get to sing this song, because one, singing means we're free, and two, it also means we're remembering our story of Pesach. So we sing Avadim Hayinu. Ready? Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin, Avadim Hayinu, Ata.
Korim b'nei korim.
Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin.
Heather,
right.
what's next with the four children?
All right, so it's very exciting. I'm just trying to see. The screen is very far away, so I'm trying very hard. But what was interesting is we went out and we asked some of our families if they wouldn't mind representing the four children for us. And so in your Haggadot, in your Haggadah, if you wanted to look at it on page 28 and 29, we talk about four different families, four different children who have different personalities and different roles in our Seder. And so we are going to start with the Vuko family. And let's see, we are going to unmute you and you can share your interpretation of the wise child.
Yeah. Come on. Oh. Go ahead, yeah, go ahead. Okay, come show 'em.
Yeah. I do the wise child with
You
I do the wise child with the Haggadah asking Sky from the Paw Patrol what he's gonna put on the Seder plate.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And it looks like you put on your wise glasses as well.
My mommy's glasses.
That's so smart. The wise child is a child that is asking lots of questions and wants to know everything that is happening during Seder. Thank you so much for the work in interpreting the wise child. And now we are going to go to the rebellious child. And I see a family who's not so rebellious, but they're going to play that part at the moment. The Sackle family.
So, I drew the rebellious child, and he doesn't participate, so we have to make him so he can participate.
Yeah, what do you think he's doing if he's not participating? What's he doing?
Sitting on his chair and doing nothing.
Right? I bet everybody could do that. You can sit on your chair and you can fold your arms like you don't want to participate, right? That's how the rebellious child is. That is a great interpretation. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, now we are going to go to the simple family. We're going to go back to the Hoffmans. And here we go. Rachel and Jordan, what do you have to share with us for this simple child?
Why do you say it full of questions? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why do we tell the story at Passover?
This whole thing makes no sense to me.
What's going on?
I don't know, go on to me.
That was our little skit for the simple child.
That was an amazing skit. Thank you. So you guys were trying to figure out what is happening here. How do we figure out what's going to happen next? Beautiful job. Thank you, Hoffmans. And now we're going to go to the Benedettos and we're going to ask them about the child who just doesn't know how to ask. Right? Look at that. Juliet is the quiet child. Oh, and what does it say? I know the answer, but I'm too shy to raise my hand. Don't forget to, can you lift it up a little? Call on me. Well, that was perfect. We just called on you. I am participating by actively listening. That is incredible. That is an amazing. Oh, we have more. I am happy. I will speak more as I get to know you better. Please give me time and space to get comfortable. Beautiful. I don't want to. Do you have any more, Juliet? Are we good? Thumbs up. That was a beautiful interpretation. So this is a good reminder as we look around our Seder tables that we have lots of different learners around the tables. And sometimes you have a child that can be that rebellious child from age 0 to age 15. And sometimes you can have the quiet child who doesn't know how to ask from age 0 to age 12. But even more importantly, I bet everybody can think of times in their lives where sometimes you're rebellious, sometimes you're wise, sometimes you don't know how to ask, and sometimes you're simple. And there's all these different things that you can morph in and out of. And what we try to do at our Passover Seders is we try to, as parents and people leading it, we try to think of different ways to engage every type of learner. So I really, really want to applaud all of our families that helped us figure out different ways that we can learn how to engage you at our Passover Seder. Beautiful job. Thank you.
So, telling the story of Passover at the Passover Seder includes all of those ideas about being wise and being rebellious and being quiet and being simple. But the big part of the Seder is, of course, the telling of the story. Now, I think a lot of us know a lot of the different parts of the story. So what I want to invite everyone to do is, if you're near enough to your computer or whatever you're using to participate, we're going to use the chat. And we're going to see if, as one big family with 22 different households on the Zoom call, can we tell the story of Passover through the chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask some very leading questions. And then when I stop, you put the answer or the next word in. So for example, a baby Jewish boy was born in Egypt and his name was, let's see if we get the answers in the chat. Moses the Sackle, Hamilton, thank you, Kenna Michelle Hamilton. No, his name was not Hamilton. It was not Alexander Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton. He won.
And then Moses.
Definitely Hamilton.
Because his mom and his sister was worried about him, they put baby Moses where? They put him in a... They put him in a basket, right? in the river Nile. And Moses was raised in the palace of Pharaoh. And then he realized one day that he actually wasn't an Egyptian. He was an Israelite. He was Jewish. And so he left from Pharaoh's house until God called to him and said, Moses, you need to go back to Pharaoh. You need to go on behalf of my people and say to Pharaoh, let my people what? Go, right? Let my people go. And what did Pharaoh say? Pharaoh said, yes or no, no way. No way. No, no, no. I will not let them go. And so God and Moses and Pharaoh had a back and forth until God sent down 10 bottles of orange juice for Pharaoh to... No, that's not right. No. God sent Pharaoh 10 magazines. No, not 10 magazines. What did God send 10 of? God sent 10 what to Egypt? God sent 10 plagues. And we'll remember those plagues in just a moment when we pour out a bit of our wine. Remember that. We sent the plagues, and then finally Pharaoh said, all right, that's it. That's enough. Moses, get your people and go. And so they left. They went overnight. They went on this night, right on the night of, actually last night, they went on the night of Passover. But in the morning, Pharaoh changed his mind. And he and his army chased after Moses and all the Israelites. And the Israelites were worried because behind them was Pharaoh's army, and in front of them was a very big sea blocking the way. What was the name of that sea? And there are at least 3 possible answers for this one. The Red Sea is one answer. Good. Anyone know any other names for that sea in other parts of our tradition? I'm reading the chat. Red Sea, Red Sea, Red Sea, Red Sea. Right? So it's kind of not a trick question, but it's a hard question. Sometimes you see this called the Sea of Reeds. They call it the Sea of Reeds. And in Hebrew, they call it the Yam Suf. I would have given credit for any one of those answers. Maybe they should ask me to be the next host of Jeopardy. They haven't called yet. Right? But they got to the Red Sea, and then the Red Sea, what did it do? The sea divided, it parted, right? The sea, part of the sea divided. The Israelites were able to walk through. The sea closed up on the Egyptian army, and then we were finally free. Extra credit question. What's the name of the prayer that we sing at our services? That was the song that Miriam led us to sing when the sea parted. Spelling does not count. Sea, she parts. The sea, she parts. Eliana says, Micha Mocha. That's right. Micha Mocha is the name of the song, the name of the prayer that we sing. Eliana, extra credit points for you. Very good. Right. So these are the stories. This is what happened. Right? Thank you so much to everyone for telling us the story of the Exodus. I will say that in our house earlier today, we had a screening of The Prince of Egypt, and that's where the story ended. It didn't go to the next part, which is up to the mountain and Torah, because that comes 7 weeks from now when we get to Shavuot. But now, as we do with the Seder, we're going to turn back to one important part of the story, and that is the plagues. The 10 plagues that God sent down to Pharaoh and to Egypt. We're going to sing the plague song, and then we're going to recount the 10 plagues. Hannah Michelle?
All right, so this is a fun song, and we're just going to sing the chorus part, but all you have to know how to do is count to 10. So, and the song goes like this. Everybody's going to count to 10 with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. One more time, faster. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Ba-da-ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt's land.
So the telling of the plagues is my favorite part of the Haggadah. And Tammy is going to help with the telling of the plagues. And Shachar is going to help with the telling of the plagues. And I'm just getting my 10 plagues finger puppets, Daphne, hold this for me, out so we can get ready to do the 10 plagues. Now, you need your fingers. You really can't do finger puppets and the finger work for the 10 plagues, because you're supposed to do is, hang on, girl, wait. You dip your finger in your wine or grape juice, and you put a drop of wine or grape juice out on your plate for every plague. And there's an important reason why. When we do this, we remember not only that God sent the plagues to Pharaoh, but that there were people living in Egypt who didn't do anything wrong, and the plagues affected them too. So we drink less wine or less grape juice, which is seen as a sign of the grape juice, the wine is a sign of happiness. So we get less happy by taking some wine or grape juice out for the plagues as we go through. So Shachar is going to read the plagues in Hebrew, and Tammy's going to read the plagues in English. And as we do, I'm going to put them on my fingers.
Ready? Done.
Where's my bag of plagues?
Stephanie took it away.
Layla.
Oh, there.
Blood.
It's for there.
Oh, Spartea, frogs. Did you say dumb?
Yes.
Okay, I missed it.
Kinim.
Lice.
Arov.
Wild animals.
Dever.
Cattle disease.
Shchin.
Sores.
Barak.
Hail.
I like it.
Arbe.
Locust. Darkness.
Makat Bechorot.
Death of the firstborn.
So you can see I have some of my plague fingers. We're missing 3 of the plagues.
We might have those 3. We're missing
You
other
got
ones.
those 3? Because my other born took my other plagues out of my fingers. But these plagues are here.
But we still have hail going all over our house.
Where's frog?
We still have
Where's
help.
frog? You guys took the frog.
Mm.
Oh, there you go.
Do you want help taking him off?
I'm good. Now, here's lice.
Debbie,
Very good.
get the
Go
frog.
have a seat, please. Go have a seat. So we know that the plagues were a really important part of how we got out of Egypt. And we know that it was God who was the one who led us out. And so like we do every year, we say thank you to God. We say, God, you did so many wonderful things for us. Even one of them would have been enough. If you had brought us out of Egypt, it would have been enough. If you had given us Shabbat, it would have been enough. If you had given us the Torah, it would have been enough. And we get so thankful to God that we just break out into song like we're in a musical. Right? So, Canna Michelle, is there a thank you song we sing to God for those things?
I mean, there's so many, but there's one super special one for Pesach. I think it's definitely the greatest hit of Pesach, right? And it's called, what is it called, everybody? Say it out loud. Dayenu. All right, are we ready? Ilu hotzi hotzianu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ilu hotzianu, hotzianu, mi mitzrayim, hotzianu, mi mitzrayim. Dayenu, ba ba ba. Dayenu, da 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 da. Dayenu, da 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 da. Dayenu, 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 da 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 da. Shabbat Natan Lanu et Shabbat Dayenu 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 Anu eta Torah dayenu, bop bop bop, dayenu, 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 dayenu,
And that's about the time, in my house we say, and that's enough. And that's enough. I know, not of the Dayenu, not the whole thing, of the Dayenu. Because next we have a very important part of the Seder. Next we get to go around the Seder plate and talk about what's on the Seder plate. We already talked about the matzah, that was the bread that we had rise or didn't rise and cook on our backs. But we have other things. We have the lamb bone, the shank bone, the roasted bone that reminds us of the sacrifice that was made. Right? We have the matzah that reminds us of the slavery and of making it on our backs. We have the maror, the bitter herb. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. We got a big, nice horseradish here. Right? The bitterness of slavery is the maror. Claire, please go sit down.
No.
And we have other things. We have the egg, which reminds us of the rebirth of spring. And also the parsley. Also, the karpas reminds us of springtime and new growth. We have the other bitter herb, right? The romaine lettuce or the spinach. And then we also have, please get out of the way. And then we have the charoset, which is the delicious, delicious mix of fruits and seeds, and not in this house, but in other houses, nuts and wine that we use. And this is a delicious, sticky Sephardi charoset made out of dates and figs and grapes and sunflower seeds, because we don't have nuts in this house. It is delicious. And those are the parts of the Seder plate. Now it is time, and if you see in my house, sometimes you need, for a little bit more wine. So Ken and Michelle, can we do another blessing over the wine for the second gulp of wine?
Absolutely. Here we go, everyone. If you can, hold up your cup of grape juice or wine, and we sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Recline. All right, so now we are going to turn to, in our Haggadah here, we do the next few parts. The first of the next parts is rachza. So if you can say it at home, rachza. Thank you. Leora is going to say it for all of us. Here she goes. Rachza. It's one of those tricky Hebrew words. And the rachza is, what is it, Yaniv?
A wash.
It's a wash, right? We're washing our hands again, but this time we say the blessing over washing our hands. And here we go. That blessing sounds like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al netilat yadayim. So there's our bracha, and if you can run and take a second to go wash your hands, or Purell if you have some next to you. And then we have the motzi. And actually, I've got to ask a question. Rabbi Greg.
Yes.
Why are we saying a motzi if we're not supposed to eat bread? Because the motzi is the blessing over bread. And I've always wondered, why do we say the blessing over bread and then say the blessing over the matzah?
So, Ken and Michelle,
Yes.
what's matzah?
Well, matzah is bread that never made it to the second stage.
That's right. Matzah is a form of bread. It's made out of flour. It's made out of water, just like bread. It just didn't rise with the yeast. It wasn't cooked for as long, and so it's still bread. It's just a very special kind of bread. So before we can eat matzah, we have to say the motzi. And then at Pesach Seder, we also say the blessing for the eating of the matzah, that third blessing, because it's a mitzvah, a commandment to eat the matzah. Does that answer your question?
That does. Thank you so much. So it's the, Yaniv says it's the little bread who couldn't, right? So there we go. So we're going to say our bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We say amen. And then we say our blessing, over the matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. And take a big crunchy bite. Try not to get anything too crummy around you.
And now that you've had your matzah and you're feeling, wow, this is a really good matzah, you're thinking, I'm going to add something to this matzah. And now we've gotten to the part where we're going to put maror, the bitter herbs, on our matzah. But we're going to do something a little interesting. We're going to make a little sandwich. So now is the time that you can take your maror and your charoset and you can put it on together, get a little sweet and a little bitterness on there. So if you take your maror, your horseradish, and you can put it on your matzah, and before we eat it, we're going to say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. And that is just one more reminder of how hard it is to live as slaves. And if you're, thinking, that's a lot of matzah that I'm having today, feel free to put your maror on your chazeret, on your romaine lettuce or something else, whatever works for you. You can get that bitterness and do a bunch of tastings, if you will. And so now you're putting them together, and that is your korech, your sandwich, and you may eat your matzah and your maror. I'm stalling so people can chew. It's very loud in here, and ironically, there's also still a little bit of hail every now and then in our house. Oh, okay. B'te'avon. I know. So Rabbi Greg, while you're chewing, when people have a moment and they can get a close-up of Rabbi Greg, he has a very lovely bow tie that you can look at later. I see that he's still chewing, so we'll just keep talking about that lovely bow tie.
Chewing, I had my korech with my delicious naroset and my maror. It is time to wash it down with my third gulp of wine. And so, Ken and Michelle, if you're still choking down your matzah and enjoying your charoset and your maror, let us say our blessing for our third gulp of wine.
All right, I think we got this down by now. Ready, everyone? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
So you may have noticed that everybody at your table has a glass of wine to drink, but you may notice that we have extra glasses of wine, extra Kiddush cups on our table. And this Kiddush cup is for Elijah. Elijah the prophet is going to visit every single house and every single Seder tonight. And so if you have children, now is the perfect time for your children to open the door. Children, please go open a door. And they're opening, and they're opening. And this is the time that Elijah comes and magically drinks out of his cup. And so if your children are opening the door, hopefully they have not gone out the door and they've come back to the table. And Daphne and Leora, everybody should look at that special cup of wine, showing that Elijah was here. And when Elijah comes, oh, here comes more hail. When Elijah comes, then we know that we have I know we are bringing peace into our homes, but apparently not with the 10 plagues.
Hannah Michelle,
Well, yes, Rabbi Greg.
does Elijah have a theme song?
He does. He actually has his own soundtrack. It's called Elijah Rock.
And how does it go?
It goes like this. Ready? Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera Beyamenu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach and David, Imashiach, one more time, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
So this picture that we see is a picture of Miriam. Because in addition to pouring out wine for Elijah, we also have Miriam's cup. And we have our Kos Miriam here on our table. And this reminds us of all of the women who did all the wonderful things that don't always get written about in the Torah, but are also just as important as all the men. So we take a little bit of our water and pour some water into Miriam's cup. And we'll pass that around the table as well for anyone who wants to pour water into Miriam's cup. I'm going to drink some water because the matzah is caught right here. Mm. 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 We're almost at the end. But what we haven't done yet is said how thankful we are for everything that has happened. And on Passover and on other festivals and other holidays, we have these special set of prayers and blessings and words from the Hebrew Bible called Hallel, where we get to sing songs of praise to God and gratitude. So if you haven't refilled your wine cup recently, now would be a good time because we're going to have our fourth gulp in a moment. But in between now and then, Cantor Michelle is going to lead us in a little bit of Hallel to celebrate the evening.
Okay, everybody, this is an interactive Hallel, aside from you writing in your chat what you might be thankful for. So 2 things we're gonna do. If you know the song, We Will Rock You, you know that there's a fun beat to it, and it kind of goes like this. Boom, 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 right? So if you have room at your table, you can do that. But before we do that, this is gonna be your part. I'm gonna say one line, and you guys are gonna answer with the words Ki le'olam chasdo. So say it with me. Ki le'olam chasdo. And it's going to go like this. So everybody get your yadayim ready. We're going to pound on the table. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Odu ladonai ki tov. Your turn. Ki le'olam chasdo. Ki le'olam chasdo. Now my turn. Yomar na Yisrael. Yisrael. Your turn. Ki le'olam chasdo. Ki le'olam chasdo. My turn. Yomruna Beit Aharon, Beit Aharon. Your turn. Ki le'olam chasdo, Ki le'olam chasdo. My turn. Yomruna Yirei Adonai, Yirei Adonai. Your turn. Ki le'olam chasdo, Ki le'olam chasdo. Now, like any good Jewish song, we end with lai-lais. Ya-ya-dai-dai-dai, ya-la-da-da-dai, ya-la-da-da-da-da-da-dai, ya-la-ya-dai, ya-la-da-da-dai, ya-la-da-da-da-da-dai. Good job. All right,
well, that definitely worked up an appetite also, but we are going to start with another glass of wine. So if hopefully your wine glasses are full and together, we are not going to sing it like Cantor Michelle's family, but you know, we can make it happen anyway. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Chaim.
So this next part is a part that we didn't do last night at the first Seder. We only do it at the second Seder because from tonight all the way until the festival of Shavuot, 7 weeks from now, we count the days. It's called counting the Omer. And we do this for a couple of reasons. The first reason was that after the Israelites, Moses led them out of Egypt, they wandered a bit until they got to Mount Sinai, 7 weeks later. And 7 weeks later, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, which we celebrated Shavuot. And so we mark the days from then and from now until then. But also in the springtime is a spring harvest time, and we count to make sure and we pray that the spring harvest will be what we need so we have enough food to eat for the summer because it's going to be dry, they're not going to grow anymore. So for all of those reasons. So Cantor Michelle is going to lead us in the blessing for the counting of the Omer and count the first night. And Michelle, in case you were concerned or confused, tonight's the first night. It's the first night of the Omer.
Echad.
Echad. Good.
All right, so here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu al sfirat haomer hayom yom. Everyone, echad laomer.
We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who commanded us to count the Omer. Tonight is one night of the Omer, the first night. Speaking of ones, Cantor Michelle.
Yes, Rabbi Greg.
Do you know one?
I know one. One is Hashem. One is Hashem. One is Hashem in the heavens and the earth. And before we continue, I just couldn't it was such a good intro. But before we continue, we're going to explain one thing, right? So we learn that God has many, many names, right? And one of the names that we also call God is Hashem. So you could say that at home, familiar with it, Hashem. And Hashem is like the name. It's the name of all names. And this is a super fun song, and you all have to sing. Otherwise, we're going to do the whole Seder again. So let's go. So it goes like this. We just did Who Knows 1. We're going to go up to 13. So get ready. Who knows 2? I know 2. 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 3?
I know 3. 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. You know what? Let's try this. If you want to be a part of it, why don't you unmute? I'm going to say, who knows 4? Who wants to answer?
I know 4.
Greg knows. Rabbi Greg knows 4. 4 are
the mothers.
And 3 are the fathers.
Fathers. 2 are the tablets.
And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 5?
I know 5. 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 6?
I know 6. 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In in the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 7?
I know 7. 7 are the days of the week. And 6 are the books of the Mishnah. And 5 are the books of the Torah. And 4 are the mothers. And 3 are the fathers. And 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. And 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 8?
I know 8. 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the clap, Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the clap, Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 9?
I know 9. 9 are the months before a baby's born, and 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 10?
I know 10. This is the big one. 10 are the 10 commandments. Take a big breath. And 9 are the months before a baby is born, and 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. Cut. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 11?
I know 11. 11 are the. And 10 are the 10 commandments. And 9 are the months before a baby is born, and 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the books, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth.
Who knows 12?
I know 12. 12 are the tribes of a religious school at TBE. And 11 are the stars in Joseph's dream, and 10 are the 10 commandments. And 9 are the months before a baby's born, and 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. In the heavens and the earth. Okay, last one. I know it's sad. And this one, my dad has a very special, important moment. See if you could find it.
Oh, yes.
Ready? Who knows 13?
I know 13.
What is it? 13 are the divine attributes of God, and 12 are the tribes of Israel, and 11 are the stars in Joseph. 10 are the 10 commandments, and 9 are the months before a baby is born, and 8 are the days before a breach, and 7 are the days of the week, and 6 are the books of the Mishnah, and 5 are the books of the Torah, and 4 are the mothers, and 3 are the fathers, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought, and 1 is Hashem. 1 is Hashem. Oh, here we go. Big part. In the heavens and the earth. Yay.
Well, I hope that in your house, that singing was as raucous as it was in Cantor Michelle's house and as raucous as it was in my house. But I have some sad news to share. And that sad news is that the Seder has come to an end. We began by having the salty tears, by dipping our parsley in the salt water and eating the bread of affliction. And we had the charoset, and we had the maror, and we had some other things to eat. And we had a little bit of wine and some more wine. But now we look forward to next year. The next year, we hope the year will be better, and we pray that next year we will be with our families. Layla! Hi! Wave to everybody. All right. Right? We hope that next year we will be with our friends and family, but we also say at the end of every Seder, L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, next year may all people be free. I want to wish everyone who was with us this evening a Chag Sameach, a wonderful Pesach. May the next week be a week of joy and celebration for you and your families, and we may all continue to be happy and healthy in this very unusual time that we are in. Thank you to Cantor Michelle. Thank you to Heather for helping make this be wonderful and happen together. And thank you to everyone who spent time with us this evening. I'm sure you're as hungry as my children are. They've already started eating in the kitchen. And so let us end the Seder and have a wonderful dinner each in our own homes. Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach, happy Passover.
Chag Sameach. Haba'ah, L'shana haba'ah beYerushalayim. L'shana haba'ah beYerushalayim. Always need a song.
Okay.
Bye.
Let's eat. Let's eat. Let's eat. Let's eat.
Say bye. Say bye. Bye. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. We're gonna end it now. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.